You're listening to Nicholas Acosta, host of the podcast Home to All, an all-inclusive real estate podcast. Nick sits down with guests to talk about real estate and how it works. Enjoy the episode.
Good morning, everybody. This is Nicholas Acosta, host of the podcast Home to All, an all-inclusive real estate podcast. I'm a licensed Florida realtor with eXp Realty here in Orlando, Florida. Today, coming to you from the 18th floor at the Citrus Club. I'm in the wine room, to be exact, and have an awesome guest with me, the general manager of the Citrus Club here, part of ClubCorp, Brian Phillips. How's it going today, Brian?
Doing great. Thank you, Nick. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm so glad that we're back here in the club. I know we were closed for a while back, but I'm so glad that we're able to come out and socialize again. And I appreciate that you guys are keeping us safe here.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. I mean, it's always a little bit of a challenge now, and we wanted to be certainly very aggressive and do the safest thing and make sure we had everything in place to do that well. And we want to make our members feel very comfortable here. I know that everybody needs a little bit of a home away from home right now, and so hopefully we can be that place for them.
I definitely agree. It's nice to be able to come here and get away from the condo, and because Lee and I, my spouse and I, we live in a loft unit, which is a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath.
Yeah.
Granted, it is a loft. It's 21 foot ceiling. However, we get tired of being in the same 4 walls, so it's nice to be able to stretch our legs, stretch our arms out here in the club. So that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I think everybody has to be a little bit social still. And so, you have those WeWork spaces, those kinds of things. And that's what the club has kind of become. We've adapted to that and try to create some environments to where we can make that really feasible and comfortable for everybody.
Awesome. So I was going to ask you, Brian, so just to let our listeners and viewers out there today know, I'm a member of the club as well. And I really like it here a lot. I just wanted to know, for anybody out there that's not a member yet, what do you guys have to offer? And also, how are you, what are you doing? I know you guys we're required to wear face masks in the common areas now, but just let everybody know out there that, what's going on here, what you guys have to offer, and how you guys are keeping us safe.
Yeah, so I mean, the main thing that the Citrus Club represents is the community of downtown Orlando, really the greater Orlando area as a whole. So we are a source to connect, to communicate with the broader community here in Orlando. Yeah, it is a little bit different these days. Obviously, things are much more challenging having to wear the mask when coming in, even as a member, let alone the staff. I don't have my mask on now as I'm sitting here apart from everybody with my mask off. But, generally our team is always masked, always being regularly tested to ensure that they are safe. And then we have a third-party cleaning team coming through. But we just want to be that environment where you can feel just as safe here as you would in your home, but allow some distance communication as well. So, with the Citrus Club, we are, we're service-oriented. We're here to serve the members. So we're here to do all the heavy lifting for you in terms of setting up meeting spaces, making sure you have everything you need from an audiovisual standpoint. Today, things are a little bit different. We're not getting the large groups. We're not getting the 100 or so group people coming in, but people are still looking for ways to get the key players in their company together. So it might just be a couple people, maybe up to 8 people in the meeting room, and then they're using audiovisual ability to connect on a broader level with their teams via Zoom or whatever it might be. And then they can, be served lunch, have a nice lunch meeting in a big, wide open space with plenty of room. And make sure that they're, well taken care of and almost have that same sense of normalcy, although on a more scaled back version of that. But we can still be that hub. I think we're that base for people to meet. Right now, a lot of the offices in downtown are not very full. A lot of people are still working from home. As I look around the parking lots in our garage here, even at the Citrus Center, it's probably not even a quarter full with cars. So we know that people are coming in, but it's just key people. But how are they reaching out and communicating and having this environment where they can still have some kind of a central work base? And that's what we really are now. But with the whole team dedicated to serving as if it were normal business as usual at the Citrus Club at the same time.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. And just to to vouch for Brian. He was on before we went live on the podcast. He was on the elevator with me, and which was awesome that he was still able to communicate with me in the elevator. He was wearing his mask, and him as well as all the staff here, as well as all the employees are wearing their mask all the time. And now, so we noticed too today, so obviously, it's a challenge, obviously, asking members that pay a membership to wear a mask, but I know it's a county ordinance. But you guys also, so the question I had for you is that, I noticed too, are we able to? When are we allowed to take off our mask as a member of the club? Just to let everyone know.
Yeah. It's a good question because everyone's trying to figure it out as they go, and not everyone's very used to this. This is a new approach to how we have to be out in public. But generally, you have to wear the mask just in the public areas. So as you're coming into the building, you come into the club, you're walking in, you find your meeting space, you go to your meeting room. We seat you at a dining table in the Cypress Lounge or in the Hubbard dining room. Then once you're away from just the public areas and you're seated or you're doing your meeting, you can take the mask off because our seating and our spacing is pretty spread out beyond even what the general requirements are. I mean, if you go into a typical restaurant or a space these days, there's just a lot of movement. People are heading in different directions to use the restroom right past you. There's a lot of hustle and bustle, and really they're just at the bare minimum 6 feet apart. Here at the Citrus Club, we're trying to really go well above and beyond those basic ordinance rules to create an even safer space. We don't have the same restrictions, the same pressure of a just general turning covers in and making money off of the food and beverage. We're here as a club, and we're supporting the members, so we have a little bit of advantage in that sense that this is our family. In a restaurant, a regular guest might come in once a month. Here, we're seeing them every day, and we want to make sure that we would treat them and create that environment for them just as we would at our home with our own family. But yeah, the mask is unusual. We are required to wear it. The team always has it on 24/7, even when they're working in the back of the house, even our team in the culinary side in the kitchen working all day with the mask on. So for us, it's just about wearing it in the public space for a short moment. Again, once you're seated, once you're with your team in your meeting room, whatever it is in your space, you can take it off, make yourself comfortable, and not have to worry about it.
No, that's awesome. So the pressing question that a lot of people are asking, and it's on my mind too. So as you know, in the community, and I know this is a different entity or different business, but Universal Orlando, for example, we just found out we're pass holders, but originally they were enforcing masks. I mean, obviously people have to have face protection or whatever, but as of a few days ago or a week ago, now they are going. You have the mask, but if you have some kind of I don't know, medical condition like asthma or something or breathing issues, now they're permitting to use the full face shields. Are you guys are permitting that here in the club too? If somebody says, I don't wear a mask because I feel claustrophobic or I have some kind of respiratory, normal chronic respiratory issue like asthma or COPD, chronic pulmonary disorder or whatever. And is that an issue here? Or do you guys, as long as they're covering their face with a shield, is that permitted here too?
Yeah, that's definitely permitted. I mean, per the rules and the ordinances, I mean, that's permitted, and we would certainly honor that. And, anyone who feels uncomfortable and safe or, has any particular risk or lives with anybody at risk, they can certainly reach out to us ahead of time, and we can even make extraordinary precautions for them, make sure that as soon as they come in, they're guided to a place even farther away from everybody, whatever anybody needs to feel safe. I mean, the Citrus Club has plenty of space right now. I mean, in all honesty, most businesses right now are not booking a lot of large events. So,
right.
When we start to promote a lot of more social events, trying to get things back on our events calendar, I know we have a lot of people that are into the food and beverage world. We have some foodies, we have some people that are into the wine. We want to make sure we're still elevating that and going above and beyond what we even offered before, but we're just doing it differently. So, the advantage there is that we have an entire ballroom that can normally host over 350 people. And now we're putting an event in there for 40. So literally we're talking 10 to 12 feet apart tables, seating specific couples together at one large table. Um, Creating a lot of space. So for presenting wine, instead of gathering at a table to taste wine, or, we're having that wine representative or sommelier, whoever it might be representing that product that we're featuring, going to the table, pouring it for them and telling the story individually. So it's just much more personalized. Everything we're serving, we're not doing buffets anymore. Anything that just creates a gathering or a pinch point for people,
Right.
we're getting rid of, and we're going fully a la carte. It's just more interaction at the table with a masked, server coming up to them from a safe distance, making them feel very safe. So we have that space and opportunity. I mean, of course, we'd love to have the large business events. Those are easy. We like having those big groups. But what we're doing now is just taking advantage of that, looking for ways that we can do events that are on a smaller scale, but making full use of that big open space to make everybody feel safe.
No, I completely agree. And yeah, like Brian saying, everybody listening and watching today, let's just be honest. We're talking about, he said about workspaces and people are utilizing this place like to get out of their houses from working at home, but working from here. Just for example, I'm studying my Florida broker's exam course that I'm going to take the course in August, but I'm over here at the club studying for this, also conducting business, talking to my leads, doing the podcast from here. So this has pretty much become my makeshift office as well, Brian, like you were mentioning before, for other people that are doing it as well. So, if you are a member here or not a member here and would like to become a member here, what do they have to do? What is the process for them to apply for membership at the club?
Yeah, well, we want to make it easy, and we want to make sure that it's the right fit for them as well. So we always will invite them in. We'll have somebody like Kasia, who's great, or Tracy, some of the great people on our team that handle our member services and relations. We'll even have the ability to meet with some long-term members. Some of our board of governors are willing to do that. In fact, a couple of our board of governors are actually setting up meet and greet luncheons. These are going to be spread out, of course, and done safely, but an opportunity to meet some of the people that have been some of the really key people that promote our club and make all the connections for us. And we'll show them all our space, our fitness center, and how this can be an advantage to them. So, we just want people to understand that, look, I can speak from the same background. My wife works from home and she's at home all day, and we have a child that obviously isn't in school right now.
Right.
And it's hard to really focus and get work done effectively. So having that space to come where you can get a workout done, shower, come up, grab a lunch, do a meeting, and have a big open space to do it and be serviced the whole time throughout as well with any of your needs is really one of the big advantages. And then there's just those opportunities to connect as well. And those are some of the events we're going to put on the calendar coming up, is some of those business connections. We have a Central Florida update coming up at the end of this month to early August that we're scheduling with our board of governors right now, which will bring a lot of the business folk in Orlando together to just kind of communicate about some of the stuff we're talking about now, but just some of the economic and socio impacts that are going on and how we can work together to really still progress in this challenging time. So,
No, that's awesome. I like, you guys are doing an amazing job. And the question I had for you right now is, even though I'm a member, I probably didn't ask, or you were not a general manager when I came on board as a member here. But the question I had for you is, and probably everybody's thinking about it too at home, listening or watching today. If you're a member here, you mentioned about the fitness club. Is that part of the membership, or is there an extra fee for that, or how does that work?
There is an extra fee. It's around $40 a month to use the full fitness club, and there's services there. You get your locker. We do the laundry for you. So if you're working out, we take care of your clothes. So next time you come in, they're ready for you. There's some extra things you typically don't find in a traditional fitness club environment. Again, the fitness club has had to adapt and change. They're not doing, spin classes right now. They're not doing any particular classes in general. It's very small, it's very personalized, and you get to work with a private instructor and set those appointments one-on-one. And then the gym itself is pretty wide open. I mean, you're typically will maybe see 2 to 4 people in there at most. Yeah, and with the fitness club itself, it's not necessary to join that. If you don't, then you just want to use the club for the social aspect, the dining, and the business connections and private meeting space. Then that's a separate membership as well.
No, and that's actually that's kind of cool. That I didn't even know. I knew about you having a fitness center, but I didn't know what the guidelines or the terms. So, what is there? I know you have adapted to the current situation and social distancing, and I'm probably a lot on people's mind too. Is there a limit on how many people are in the gym at a time? I know right now the club is spaced out significantly for protection, but what about the gym too? Are they having any more new rules besides spinning?
Yeah, all fitness centers should be generally reduced down to about a 50% occupancy. I'll be honest with you, we're not even getting close to a 10% of what we typically do. So we're comfortable with that. And, we're here for the members as they start to come back. We haven't had any issues in terms of getting even close to worrying about what that occupancy is. It's just not something we're unfortunately, in a way, we want to be able to see a lot of people coming back. But we are regulating it. We are spacing out any scheduled workouts with our trainers so that there's not a lot of overlap. Generally, you're going to only have one trainer doing a training at a time, so you won't have multiple trainers doing any workouts next to each other. I mean, generally the whole space one is in. It's pretty much their entire space. And then we just guided, it's one of those things where nowadays it might be a good idea on times that are normally busy to call ahead and make sure that there is availability for things like dining in our dining room. We're reservation only, just so we can ensure we're really spacing it out. Our fine dining room, the Hubbard room, which is more of our formal kind of power dining room, is not very large and only seats maybe about 70 people total. And so we'll only take reservations for maybe a couple tables every hour or so to ensure it's really well spaced out. The bigger challenge is more of your social open spaces, the Cypress Lounge, which is probably one of our more popular areas for people to gather, especially for happy hour, a good way to end the day before heading home. We're just really trying to communicate through the reception desk if things get a little too busy, that we're moving them off into another area of the club, maybe seating them in the library room, starting them off with a cocktail, whether it be complimentary or not, until we can get them in the Cypress Lounge at a table. Basically, we want everybody seated. The bar is very limited. We're only allowing probably about 6 people at the full bar total at a time. And then in the Cypress room, we have removed some tables to create the space. And then we just basically are seating the guests, making sure they're comfortable, and then serving them from there so that we keep people kind of in their area and everyone feels comfortable without too much movement around.
No, that's awesome information. I was going to ask too, when you're okay. So right now, behind me, that's the more formal dining room, right behind this wine,
Exactly.
locker or whatever you call it.
Yeah, where you're at in the wine room, it's pretty much the division between the Cypress Lounge, our more casual social area, and then the more formal dining room, which is only really evening service. Although because of this situation and we're creating space, we are using the formal dining room for lunch service as well to create more space as needed.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to sit in there yet because when we became members, probably I think a week after we became members, that's when you guys had the full lockdown for about 2 months. But I wanted to share with everybody that is listening out there or watching today, in addition to all the safety measures that Brian has talked to you guys about today, what they're doing and spacing people apart, and the popularity of the Cypress Lounge, which I love that lounge as well. The building itself, which we're in the BB&T Tower down here on Orange Avenue, in general, the whole building itself, though, when you go in the lobby, because I know a lot of people may be concerned about common areas besides the Citrus Club to get in the building, just to get up here. I will say and attest to it that they're doing a very good job and keeping us very safe as well. There's a partition in the middle of the hallway of the elevators. And then they have the arrows on the floor, which direction to go. And then in the elevator, which is even cooler or neater, is that they have a footprint directional signs. So, I mean, I love that the building's doing that and you guys are doing that. So if you're concerned, everybody here is keeping everybody safe, and you shouldn't have to fear to come out because they're going way, way, way above the mandates from the county or the governor ordinances or executive orders for sure.
Yeah, exactly. We hosted an event just recently, and it was an event for 60 people. And we used the entire ballroom that could hold 350. And they wanted to have some cocktails and have bars. And so typically an event like that, we might put one bar in and people would go to that bar. And that's something we want to avoid. So we had multiple bars open with bartenders to spread out. And then we had cocktail service where people were taking the drinks to tables. So that way it just really kept people spread out, but they could still converse, just across from a farther distance. And then, we just created more of a mic'd up kind of environment where we had microphones on the tables so that when someone was speaking through the tables, they didn't have to go up and approach people directly. Everyone could hear them throughout the room nicely, and people could kind of participate in a conversation in this big open space, but it made the connection feel smaller, even though it was really spread out. So it worked really well. And, we're getting learnings from this as we go. But, we had some really positive reaction to that. The group really loved that experience and felt comfortable with it and felt safe. So, we're just finding ways to do things in a new way. And, it's not financially as effective, of course, but we understand that that's the approach it is. We're here for the long run, and we want to do things the right way. At the end of the day, it's all about our members. And, some of our members have been here for many, many years. This is a little challenge here historically for everybody, but understanding that we're trying to do the right thing fully for them and that they can feel comfortable. And especially as things ease up, we can look back at this and we'll appreciate hopefully all the efforts that we made, despite some of the challenges and extra thinking and planning that goes into it. So that's our plan.
I agree. All right. So what I do, all my guests on my show is, I know your passion is being the general manager, and you do a phenomenal job here. We're grateful that you've joined ClubCorp here and that you are general manager. I've had such a good experience. We've all had, anybody I know that's here at the club has had a good experience that you've joined. But I wanted to ask the question, maybe non-work related. I know you mentioned you have a kid at home and your wife. So my question to you is, in your personal life, what is your favorite hobby or passion that you have outside of work, outside of the realm of work?
Yeah, fortunately, my hobby and my passion kind of feeds into work quite a bit, and that's wine. I've always been into wine pretty much my whole life. In college, I studied abroad in Europe and actually ended up working at a vineyard and winery in Germany for a short while. I had my own wine label in Texas, believe it or not. I lived in Austin, Texas for about 14 years, and I was selling my wine through popular outlets such as Whole Foods. A lot of popular restaurants carried my wine. And then I moved around a lot because of the hospitality business, and always kind of continued that passion, always fed into each other at the end of the day, having a great glass of wine, communicating with people, socializing. Through wine, I've met so many different people that I normally maybe wouldn't have always met or communicated or connected with. And it's just given me so many great opportunities to travel, to meet different cultures and just ways of life. And I've always kind of liked the kind of more, I think it's just, for me, I find it as a stress reliever. It keeps me healthy and happy. Of course, with my family, my 8-year-old's into basketball. I coached her basketball team last year at the YMCA, and we just got announcements that they're doing signups for the fall. We'll see. Hopefully we can get back to that. And then anyone who lives around downtown, I live in Thornton Park area, might see me running around a lot. I was actually training for a half marathon not too long ago before all this happened. So those are my passions, and I want to carry some of that over to here. The Citrus Club will, once things get going back up and there are the opportunities, we'll partake in a lot of the fun runs and sponsor those. And then in terms of the wine, even tonight, we're featuring a wine producer, one of my favorites, Bedrock Winery out of California, that focuses on vines that were planted by the original pioneers and immigrants in California. So they're making wine from vines that are well over 100 years of age, that have survived 2 world wars, seen prohibition, and they're going out and rescuing these old vines that were going to be torn up because they produce very little grapes. They're so dense in yield and concentration. So we're doing little fun things like that. So we'll have somebody going around at happy hour pouring these wines just to taste them and learn about them. And for those that have wine lockers, they can stock their wine lockers, or those that just want to learn about wine can come in and we'll do a big vintners event where we're going to do a big tasting of a lot of great wines at the end of this month. Bastille Day's coming up on the 14th, and we're going to do a wine to go event for that, so people can enjoy that holiday at home with a chef, executive chef Reiner's French 3-course dinner. And then we'll pair that with some French wines. So look for that to come shortly. And then just a lot of the community events we're doing, like the Sledge of Florida update. We're doing a woman executive exchange event as well, just trying to connect to the community. And then something that's really relevant today and important that we all have seen come to light as it should be and was greatly needed is more the diversity and supporting underprivileged and the Black Lives Matter movement. We're going to be hosting an event here with an athletics coordinator, former NBA basketball player who has been able to, through the help of one of our members and his foundation, raise enough money to provide 20 scholarships just this year alone to underprivileged youth in our community here in Orlando and some of the more challenged neighborhoods. So we're excited to host an event like that. We're scheduling that for the end of this month as well. So there'll be opportunity for members to contribute to some of these causes as we go. And so, again, it's little by little. Right now, it has been a kind of a reinventing how we do things, a little bit of a slowdown, and finding ways to do business again. But we're excited to finally get going, be a part of this community, and push forward and progress as much as we possibly can.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brian, for all that information today. And I really appreciate you being on with me. And I know you're going to be on with us. Vaughn and I have our other show, Real Estate Show with a View, that we do at the Citrus Club every Friday. That'll be on July 24, 2020 at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this StreamYard, Facebook, YouTube broadcast, as well as the podcast. So we're grateful for that, and I'm grateful for today for you being on the show with me.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me on. Honor and pleasure being on, and thank you for everything you do here. And it's great hosting you here, and I'm glad that the Citrus Club can be that place for you. And I'm just getting going here. I'm pretty new. I've only been at it for a few weeks, but I'm a big food and beverage guy. So look for a lot of really fun updates. Our Cypress Lounge is going to become something really unique, and we're looking for really upgrading what we're doing in our dining spaces, both private events and in our formal dining room. It's going to be quite progressive. So look for some of those updates as they come along, and look forward to seeing more of you back at the Citrus Club soon. Awesome.
So everybody, this has been Home to All, an all-inclusive real estate podcast, coming to you live from the 18th floor here today at the Citrus Club in the wine room. This is an amazing club that myself and my spouse are members of. And I do, like we were talking about in the show, conduct business here and meet a lot of new contacts, and it's a good way to network with everybody. So definitely check it out. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me as well. I'm an active member, and I'll get you hooked up with Brian here to talk about an application to become a member. So you can check me out at www.downtown.expert. My number is 407-508-8809. That's 407-508-8809. Facebook and Instagram at downtown.expert is my new handle. Again, before I roll the credits, Brian, I want to say thank you, and I'll see you around the club. And also, Lee and I do walk 9 miles every day, usually through, and we do go through Thornton Park. So if you ever see us or we see you, we'll say hello for sure.
I'll say hi as I'm going by. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if there's any businesses out there looking to do an open house or just want to see the club as a whole, please reach out. My email is brian.phillips@clubcorp.com. Or you can just call the Citrus Club, and love to chat and meet you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. And everybody, thank you for listening. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow on my show again. So have a good day. And Brian, thank you. I'll see you around.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
This has been Home to All, an all-inclusive real estate podcast. Check out Nick's Facebook and Instagram page, Home to All 101, and his website, www.downtown.expert. Thanks for listening.